also invite Mr. Bamsil Salman CM, Ms. Betsy Varghese Babu, Ms. Aksa Matthew, and Ms. Sakshi Sandosh Jadhav to please come forward to the dais. Over to you, sir.
So, good afternoon, friends. In fact, Shyam sir was specific that he didn't want to do an inaugural speech as such. So, we said we'll have a fireside. But I think the speech went on a little longer than we had expected. But, sir, coming over to the fireside, I thought I'll just set the ground and set the tone for this. And the rest is all left to the students. So, one question, sitting with one of the most important banking officials in the country today. Sir, do you think the banking would move from a brick and mortar model into more of a digital model over the coming years? Because the digital transformation is taking so much of shape. Do you really think the branches and things like that would really mean more in the coming days? How do you feel, sir?
Morning, everybody. Very good question. See, I think this debate about which form banks will take, will it be physical, will it be digital, has been going on for many years and is likely to continue. What is true is what Bill Gates said many years back, right? Banking is required, banks may not be required. What technology is doing is ensuring that you can do it more seamlessly. You can do it from this is also a bank today, right? Virtually everything can be done. But I think the way the situation in the country is, the evolution of the country, the physical form of banking as it is today known, which is the branches, are unlikely to disappear maybe even 15, 20 years from now. And there's a good reason why. If you see, if you populate India on the y-axis as very digitally aware and digitally unaware. Digitally aware is high, digitally unaware is one, and economically unaware, economically aware as the other on the x-axis. And you plot India in any of this, you will find each of them digitally very aware, economically very aware is huge population, and the right opposite quadrant, economically unaware, digitally unaware is huge. The serving each segment, each constituent requires different forms of engagement. So, in a country that is evolving, in a country that is rapidly urbanizing, so to say, and it has a young population, equally there is an aging population, equally there is a digital friendly crowd and a digital unfriendly crowd, you will see that all forms will exist, whether it's physical and the traditional branches and the very self-service led. To my mind, you can quite visualize branch banking. What may change is less people come to the branch, more people go from the bank to the customer. So you will see the physical form of a branch may serve more as an advertisement, as a reminder that it exists. Particularly in remote locations, rural, semi-urban, people like to get a feeling there is something called a bank. So in my mind, this will continue for many years. Over a period of time, the weight will change from, if it is 60-40 today, it may become 20-80, but that's like 25-30 years away.
Hi, sir. The last decade has shown so many developments in every industry. Can you please explain the developments in the banking sector in the past decade?
Yeah, I think in some part the question Rupesh asked partly answers that, right? Today, if we are sitting and discussing whether branches will exist, indicates the fact that something else has come in and altered the requirement for a branch. And that is technology, that is self-service, that is automation, that is straight through, that is digital. So the biggest change I think that has happened in the conventional branch banking is the influence and the power of technology, backed by what has happened in the India ecosystem, which is, I'm sure all of you are aware, the whole Jandan, Aadhaar, mobile trinity, JAM trinity as it's called, enabled movement of money quite easily, identification of individuals because of Aadhaar, and the connection of that has made the whole money movement seamless. Today, I'm sure all of you in the audience use one form, GPay, PhonePe, Paytm, whatever. I'm sure when you were 5, 7 years old, it was not existing, right? So the last 10 years has been very, very seminal in how development of technology has influenced banking. And that journey is now gathering momentum and pace. And I would think that's not going to go away in a long time away. Yeah.
Hi, sir. India, a vibrant and diverse nation, has emerged as a key player on the global economic stage in recent decades. Which are the factors you believe have played crucial role in India's economic growth?
See, there's, it's not one thing that has altered, right? This is like, they say, there's a very famous quote which says, gradually, then suddenly. So the India story is gradually, then suddenly. We were like from 1991 when the reforms in India started in full scale. India has been moving one step forward continuously. There have been various stimulants that have come, the opening of the economy, the invitation of foreign resources to come in, the large population and the growing younger Indians, the development of technology and the influence of technology. All this is playing a material part. So there's no one, you could say, because of this. But what has probably happened, the confluence of many things coming together in the more recent past, like the one that I explained, the Jandan and Aadhaar and mobile and the development of whole UPI. These have been very significant developments which has ensured that the momentum of all this comes together. Sometimes the political will also is useful because governments step in and offer good impetus for these things to carry on, and at least they are not standing in the way of progress. So I think the Indian economy gathering momentum over the long many years has not just been one incident, but it's a gradual movement. But what is not, what has worked is that somebody is not standing in the way of progress. Despite governments moving one versus the other, the population demands have started, are now much more higher, and therefore that cannot be stopped, that juggernaut cannot be stopped. So I think the India opportunity, as you see, we are now a top economy, the 5th largest economy in purchasing power parity, we're the 3rd largest economy. But you must keep in mind, the average Indian is still not as wealthy as he should be. So instead of looking at what happened in the last 25 years and feeling good, which we should, what will happen in the next 25 and how we are going to make that productive for India is more important. Yesterday or day before, I was in a program in one of the management campuses, and I was referring to when I went to the IIM, India's GDP was about $250 billion. That's many years back. Now it's kissing $4 trillion. But at $4 trillion, we are still at a per capita level much lower than many other countries. Right? The average human, you are all little privileged. There are so many people who have lot less privileges. For India to be a $20 trillion or a $25 trillion with a per capita of 10,000 or plus dollars is what our aspiration is. Over the next 20 years, that's what should happen. And for that to happen, hopefully where we are is like a trailer. Right? In 2025, 2045, one of you sitting here should be able to narrate. In 2024, India was just a $4 trillion economy. It's now a $20 trillion economy. And that's what is the most exciting part. And so a lot has happened, but I would still say it's a trailer. Yeah?
Thank you, sir.
So it's been spoken about the India's progress and the factors leading to the progress of India. I would want to know, how do you perceive the role of banks, in particular, to support the small businesses and the further developments which can lead India to achieve further heights?
Yeah. See, I think we must understand banks don't exist in isolation, right? Banks are the spine or the backbone of an economy. Economy does well, banks do well, economy does well, so it's symbiotic. Because what does a bank do? It's only a means and mode of movement of money. It facilitates you to get money or you to deposit money. That's at the core of it, that's the job of a bank. But it manifests itself in many forms for different segments. There are segments in the market who have less access to capital. Right? If you are a small business or a chai dukan in the street corner, your financial needs are a lot less, but still you need capital. You can't start without capital. It's maybe 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. The unorganized sector in India is one who gives money to these people. And invariably, because they don't have enough collateral, they charge very high. Over the next, it is already happening, over the coming years, both by the business model and by the regulatory interventions and government push, the banks will start focusing on these segments to make money accessible and cheaper for them. So you will see in the years ahead, as it is already, banks are focusing on small and medium establishments, governments are focusing, there are numerous incentives for people to participate. The customers of these segments are also being encouraged to go to the banks, to go to the formal sector, rather than going to the non-bank sector and government. You will see the evolution of technology, the demand for more goods and supplies, banks' keenness to move into that segment, and the economic development of technology will make sure this will grow faster. That's what will happen over the years.
Thank you, sir. My question for you is, technology is transforming banking in many ways we couldn't have imagined a decade ago. From mobile banking apps that allow us to manage finance on the go, to AI-powered chatbots to provide customer service, the digital transformation is evident. How is Federal Bank leveraging digital transformation in its operations and services to improve customer experience and operational efficiency?
Yeah, I think this is a good question, but the answer I can give for a full day. Right? Lot is happening. I'll tell you the one way you can appreciate it. We have now come to a point where we are thinking there should be no device for you to bank. What do we walk with other than our mobile phone is ourselves, right? We want to bring banking to you where you don't need a device, you're caught in the dead, you don't have any device, nothing. Still you should be able to bank. And what is it that you have? Your physical self, your eyes, your face. So Federal Bank will be the first bank in the country which is allowing you to take this and throw it away and bank with your face. And we are coming with it very soon. So all you youngsters will be out there showing your face, paying and going. You will see this very soon. So that's the level of evolution of technology. And by the time you guys are in your 40s, you will have a chip implanted in your lip and you talk and it will be moving. We don't know. I can't quite imagine. Anything can happen. Today a kid is born, you put a chip on that, everything will happen. Then you don't need to do anything, right? It will keep tracking the child's every movement and you'll have a life history of child on the phone, tracking it from afar, and then the banking requirements. Because when he was a child, he liked this device, this more, then that's something more. I spoke about insight. We will develop technical insights around how to help that child's career pathing. So a lot can happen. Okay?
In fact, I think Federal Bank was the first bank to come out with a robo doing banking, and it was in the news where we could see. And I think when I visited the premises, I think it's evident there that it is there. Fortunately, I'm one of the auditors, so I had the privilege to be there. So what I thought is, time being short and he has to be with another meeting also. Maybe a couple of questions can we have from the audience also, if it would be good. Will it be okay, sir?
5 minutes max.
5 minutes, yeah. A quick couple of questions, yes. Can we have a mic to the gentleman, please?
So, since all are students, maybe you could just speak about the importance of a governance structure, the way Federal Bank is leading the banking sphere with having a very good governance structure in place, and what difference it makes to the organization.
Sure. Thanks, Namrata. Let me just, as young students, talk about. I heard, I think, Shri Priya talk about ethics and professional ethics and personal ethics. And I completely agree with you. There is nothing called professional ethics and personal ethics. It's ethics. Right? Doing the right thing all the time is paramount. I tell myself and my entire team in the bank, whatever you do, ask yourself the question, will you be able to proudly tell your mom or your family or your boyfriend or your girlfriend? If it passes the can I tell my mom test, you've done the right thing. Whatever you do. So bring that to the organization in the governance architecture. Banks are a very regulated industry. We deal with not our money, customers' money, public money. We are obliged to make sure that it is safe. We are obliged to make sure that it's well managed and there are no malpractices, because banking is all about trust. You place your money with the bank because you trust the organization will take good care of it. So the governance architecture of any organization, certainly of a bank, has to be exemplar. So I won't bore you with the details, but it is it's both an art and a science to get your governance right. There are some regulatory standards on how the governance structure should be. But if you just follow the regulatory standards only in the way it's written, but not in the spirit, you would have failed the governance. Governance is both spirit and in the word. Governance is what you can tell your family proudly. Governance is what will get you more business. So it's a prerequisite for good growth. And that I would say to everybody in this group, you're all professionally qualified or will be professionally qualified chartered accountants. Keep your nose clean. Make sure that when you clean somebody else's, your integrity is of the highest order. The rest will follow. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. All the best.
So we'll conclude with that. We are extremely privileged to have you here, and thank you so much for that, sir. Thank you.